Welcome to TAD. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Tress, and I am going to show you step-by-step how to do your own DIY lashes at home. TAD is an incredibly special and unique product because they are the first lashes of their kind. They are 3D printed. Now, this technology is nowhere else in the world right now, and we are so excited to bring it to you. If you have used DIY lashes before, that means you have probably experienced uncomfortable lashes, sticky lashes, lashes that poke when you close your eyes, lashes that come off when you are in the pool or in the shower, and lashes that you can't wash for an entire week at a time. And we really want you to be able to do that. As a professional lash artist of over 20 years, I want you to be able to put your eye health and your lash health first, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So go ahead and grab your favorite cup of coffee, cup of tea, or glass of wine and sit down, get comfy, and do your lashes with me. So first things first, let's grab everything that we need to do our lashes at home. We are going to need our Brilliant Bond Duo Adhesive. We are going to need our Precision Seal to make sure that we get waterproof lashes that last. We're going to need our TAD 3D printed DIY lashes, our prep pads, and these are a really important step that we don't want to skip, and then our application tools. It's pretty easy. That's all we need to make sure that we get flawless, beautiful, comfortable lashes at home. After making sure you have all of your tools and supplies, the thing that we need to do is see what size lashes we are wearing. Now we have mini, midi, maxi, and mega, and those are the lengths of the lashes. So today I'm going to be using midi, and these are going to be lashes that are a little bit longer than natural lashes. They give me a little bit of flair and a little bit of drama, and they essentially look like lash extensions. So what I'm going to see here is the length of the lashes. Now you will notice in your box at home that from the inside to the outside, you will see lengths written at the bottom. Now these lengths tell you how long in millimeters each one of these lashes are. So we're gonna go from the inner corner to the outer corner and see that they go from shorter to longer and then back down to short again. This is going to be what we call our map. We always start with our application from the outer corner. Now let me show you how to pick these lashes up and how to prep them to get them on your eyes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my applicator tool. I'm going to slide in to one of the lash segments at the bottom, and I'm going to hold really tight. Then I will lift up and out of the scaffolding. One of the things that you are going to notice right away is the lashes look absolutely crazy, and that's okay. They were created specifically with something called 3D Memory Flex technology. Now, what that means is your lashes are always going to bounce back to the exact curl and the exact shape that they were when they were first printed. This also happens faster with body heat or a higher ambient room temperature. So if you are somewhere that is pretty cool or doesn't have a lot of humidity, that's okay. You might see your lashes bounce back a little bit more slowly. If you're somewhere that has a lot of warm weather and a lot of humidity, you'll probably see them bounce back really, really quickly. But what I want you to do is take just a moment, take your first lash segment out of the box by grabbing the base of it really low and really firm and lifting up out. Don't be afraid, it'll look a little wild, and then I want you to sit down with me and watch it bounce back to its original shape. Now there are some variations that we can use to adjust the kind of mapping that we want. If we want a really open eye or a doll effect, if we want a cat eye or a kitten eye, we can make those modifications and we will be able to play with those lengths in order to get the effect that we want. For right now, we wanted to make it as easy for you as possible. So what you're going to do is you're just going to follow the map that we created for you in the box. So I'm going to simply grab the base of the lashes and peel up and out, one at a time until I have all 6 segments. Oftentimes, we will only need 5 segments per eye. Sometimes we'll need 6. It just depends on how long the length of your lash line is. My lash line only holds about 5 lash segments per eye, so that's what I'm going to do today. The great part is you'll know exactly how many you need because we start with the outer corner lashes, we apply them to the outer corner first, and then we apply one next to it until we get over to the inner corner. So you'll know exactly how many lashes you'll need. A couple of tips before we get started with application though. Some lash segments were designed to overlap each other, one next to the other, with 7 or 8 even lash segments on an eye to create a really seamless look. These were created specially to create a seamless look without having to use too many and without having to overlap them. So what we'll do is we'll apply them one next to the other instead of doing any overlapping at all. This is going to make sure that they stay incredibly comfortable and they grow out comfortably too. One of the things that you might not have seen with DIY lash lines before is what we have called a prep pad. It is a way to prepare your lashes to receive the adhesive and make sure that it bonds to your lashes for kind of as long as you want it to. We like to keep our lashes on for 5, maybe 7 days before we take them off and apply a new set. The cool thing is our prep pads come with a little tweezer in the top so that we can make sure we can get just one prep pad at a time without contaminating anything else. Then we will put the lid back on and close those prep pads. We just need one. Now, this is kind of dual purpose for us. What we're going to do is we're going to wipe our eyelashes with it from the top and from the bottom, and then we're going to keep this prep pad around because sometimes we can find ourselves in a little bit of a sticky situation and we want to make sure that we don't have any adhesive on our tweezers throughout the application process. If that happens to happen, we use our prep pad to wipe the tips of our tweezers and make sure that we find ourselves in a very clean situation. Next, I am going to grab my Brilliant Bond adhesive. We have 2 different colors of adhesive in our Brilliant Bond. One is going to look white and is going to dry clear, and the other is going to look like a dark navy blue and is going to dry black. They were created for 2 different reasons. The clear adhesive goes on your natural lashes, and the black adhesive goes on the lash segment itself. What's going to happen once we do that and then bring them together to attach is these lash segments are going to grab onto your natural lashes really easily so that you can apply them pretty quickly and pretty seamlessly. One more tip that I have for you is don't be afraid of your white adhesive turning clear before you get the lash segments on. That's actually what we want to happen. When the white adhesive turns clear, it means that it's gotten tacky or sticky, and that's what helps to make sure that the segments stay put where we put them. Let's get started. So our Brilliant Bond adhesive is actually labeled in a super cute way. We have 4 tad on one side, and that's for the lashes, and for you on the other side to keep everything crystal clear. Speaking of crystal clear, we're going to use the clear adhesive labeled for you, and it is on a little tiny mascara brush. Now, just because it's on a little brush doesn't mean that you're going to pull it all the way through your lashes like mascara. What I want you to do is I want you to put it at the base of your lashes and wiggle it back and forth to concentrate a little bit of adhesive there. You don't need much. A little goes a long way. So don't feel like you need to coat your lashes like mascara in order for it to work. I'm going to take the clear For You adhesive up to my eyelashes, and I'm not going to blink really hard after I apply them because I don't want my lower lashes and upper lashes to stick together. This is a pretty quick process. As you can see, all I'm doing is touching it to the base of my lashes and wiggling back and forth a little bit. That's it. Now we're going to use the 4 tad adhesive. You might notice that there is a little something at the base of the lashes that we call a microstructure. This is going to be a structure that has little tiny pieces that will actually work up and in between your own natural lashes. This is going to keep them on, keep them in place, and make sure that they have the longevity that they need for you to wear them for a week at a time. What we'll do when we apply the 4 tad black adhesive is we'll pick up and hold the lash segment by the tips. We will swipe the black adhesive across the base of the lash segment just above that microstructure. Now, an important tip is do not keep your adhesive open. You always want to close it firmly and tightly in between uses to make sure that that adhesive isn't drying out and getting sticky. Now that we have the adhesive clear on our lashes and the adhesive on our lash segments, we can apply them. What I'm going to do is lift up the outer corner lash segment and bring it up underneath my own eyelashes. Now, you might want to get really close to a mirror for this. I'm gonna lean in here a little bit. After that, I can use my applicator to squeeze that lash segment gently into place and bring my natural lashes and the lash segment together. That was pretty easy. Let's do it again. In between squeezing the lashes, I'm just always going to use my prep pad and make sure that I firmly wipe off the inner tips of my tweezer. The length that I happened to use was an 11 there, and I'm going to use a 12 now. I'm going to place it right next to the 11 without overlapping, lift it up towards my natural lashes, give it a little wiggle, and there it is. Let's slide back in with our tweezers and give it a little squeeze to bond the natural lashes and the segments together. We'll repeat this process until we're completely done. Now, I know that it takes 5 segments for my eye. You might not, and that might take a little bit of trial and error for you to find the kind of style that you like the best. And that's totally okay. The beautiful thing about these lashes is if you find that you have one in an area and it looks a little bit too long, or you didn't get it applied in the right direction, because of the flexible adhesive, you can simply take it back off, put a little bit more adhesive on the segment, and reapply it again. Sometimes they stick a little bit to that tweezer too. That's okay. What you want to do is make sure that you are just gently lifting it up and away from your lashes instead of pulling it away quickly. That's probably going to bring the lash segment off instead of letting it stay on and attached to your naturals. We'll use the Pristine Seal to make sure that any of that stickiness goes away and that we waterproof our lashes for the duration of their wear. Now, it's okay if you are a lot closer to your mirror than I am. I'm doing this to show you how to do it, but I've been doing these lashes for a really long time, so it might be a little bit more time consuming for you to get them in exactly the right place, and that's okay. Afterwards, I'm going to take my tweezer and I can either apply it or I can squeeze my lashes together, either with the tip of the tweezer facing inwards towards my inner corner or facing outwards, and squeeze them along a little bit at a time. So that's how I applied it first. Now I like to take the tips of my tweezer, point them towards my inner corner, and go ahead and squeeze all of those lashes into place at the same time. Again, they'll stick a little bit, and you just have to be careful removing them and give it time and be gentle. The other option that we have to make sure that our lashes are pressed together and are going to stay the way that we want them to is a tool that probably looks pretty familiar to you. No, this is not a lash curler, but it's based on the same concept. This has a pad on the bottom and on the top. It's extra wide and extra tall. That means that you can get all of your lashes right in there really easily. And then just like you're curling your lashes, you would gently squeeze them together with the lash segments. Each time you squeeze your lashes, you're gonna watch them go a little wild, and then you'll watch them bounce back. And it's really fun to watch that 3D Memory Flex technology in action. Okay, so that's MIDI on my one eye. I have 11, 12, 11, 10, and 8 all on the same eye, and it's created the perfect map for me. We're gonna go ahead and do the other eye now. The first thing that I'm going to do is our 4U clear tat adhesive. And again, I'm just going to apply it like I'm using mascara at the very base of my lashes instead of pulling it through. If we pull it through, the tips can get really sticky, and then we might have a hard time applying those segments or moving our tweezers away. Typically, after my first eye is done, I'll go ahead and I'll start the other eye because I'm not going to leave the house like this, and I will remove the rest of the segments from the other side of the lash tray. Now I'm removing them from inner corner to outer corner this time and putting each one of them next to each other on that sticky strip to help hold them still. Again, what we're gonna do after applying the black adhesive to the lash segments is pick them up one at a time from their tips, bring them up to our outer corner, lift them from underneath the lashes up to the outer corner and give them a little wiggle to keep them in place. We can do that one segment at a time. And sometimes what can happen is you can get a little bit of stickiness on your lower lashes after you get that clear adhesive, the 4U adhesive, on your upper lashes. I'll use the back of my tool and kind of separate them a little bit and lift up those lash segments into my naturals in order to help make sure that they don't stick to the lower lashes. The other thing I can do, like before, is take the tweezer and go ahead and squeeze those lashes together at the base after I apply them. Just make sure after every time you do that, you use your prep pad to clean off the inner tips of that tweezer. If you don't, you'll end up with the tweezer sticking to the lash segments themselves, and the lash segments won't be sticking to your lashes. They'll be sticking to the tweezer tool. Don't worry if they look a little wild when you put them on. It's because you've been squeezing them with that tool, and they'll bounce back. I'm gonna go in and squeeze all of them together at the same time. And remember that when we lift off, it might be a little sticky on top, but it's totally okay. Just be gentle with it. Now I had a lot of adhesive on the inside of my applicator tool that time, so I'm going to wipe it off really, really well. And I can see that my inner corner on this side is drooping and like dropping just a little bit. So I'm going to go grab the tips with my applicator, pull away very slowly and gently, which I can totally do because it's flexible adhesive. And then I'll re-grab that little segment. I'm gonna get a little closer to the mirror for this time. And I'm going to reattach it from underneath. Now I'll use my tool to squeeze one more time. And that'll make sure that it's on there really well. After I make sure that they're all in place the way I want them to be, I'll go ahead and I'll grab my precision press to make sure that they're aligned and fully attached. We can squeeze gently. We don't have to squeeze really hard like we used to when we were using a similar tool as a lash curler because we already have curled lashes. The last part of the process is going to be our pristine seal. We are going to use this to make sure that the lashes are waterproofed and we can wash them every single day, and to make sure that we get rid of any residual stickiness that might be there from the flexible adhesive that we use to keep these lashes on. I'm going to use this in two different ways. We have a little flocked tip applicator at the tip on what looks like a traditional mascara wand, or what we would call a spoolie. Now, I like to use the very tip underneath my lashes and simply touch along the bottom of every single one of these lashes to apply a very small amount of sealant. You don't need a lot, a little goes a very long way. This is going to make sure that we're waterproofed. It's going to make sure that the lashes aren't sticky anymore. And if you have any adhesive that seems like it has stickiness at the tips of the lashes, you run it through with that mascara wand portion. Now it's going to take everything a little bit of time to set and settle and finish curing. Later tonight, what I want you to do is take a little bit of time, think about your lashes, and then squeeze your eyes together really tightly. What you're going to notice is nothing at all. You can't feel them, and it's part of the 3D memory flex technology that they're made from. This is going to be especially exciting for you if you are a traditional DIY lash wearer. This is something that is still surprising for me, and I still wake up every single morning going, are my lashes on? And they are. I just can't feel them. But by the time I get up and I look in the mirror and I see how beautiful they still look, I'm sold all over again. I know that you're gonna love these lashes just as much as I do. If you have any questions for us, please contact us at TAD. We love you. We're so thankful you're here. We hope you enjoy your lashes.